First video we're going to cover what's in the shed. If you just kind of follow along as I talk you through it, so all the coaches know what's inside here. You'll be given a code to the lock on the side of the shed here that'll unlock the keys that will open the padlock to let you in. First we have these blue chalk holder. If you fill it halfway up, that'll be more than enough to line the field for a 10U, 12U game. So halfway filled, it's good to go. You also have tarps. If they're not here, they'll be either on the field or in the dugouts being stored. You have the base, the template for the batter's box on both sides of the plate. Obviously, this is the side that touches the corner of the plate. We'll show you there later in the video. The actual field garden rake to help smooth out or rough up surfaces as needed. Pioneer tools. 2 line markers, 100 feet and about 90 feet. This will get you everything you need to get a 12U game lined up. Use this for T-ball, use this for the Powderworks main. If those aren't available, you can also use our tape measure that'll be inside here as well. This is very helpful for lining a field, especially if you do it by yourself. Okay, the next thing I'm going to cover are the 3 bases. Please pay special attention to this one. Bases with the yellow posts. This is for Powderworks main. The white bases with a metal post. They look like this. Right here. T-ball field. The field in left field, that is. Powderworks left field. And this one right here is for Pioneer softball right here in DuPont. Once again, yellow, Powderworks main, metal and white, left field T-ball diamond, brown and rubber, Pioneer softball. Additionally, when it starts getting drier, you have the spigots that you can insert into the first or third base dugout side and attach it to the hose that's stored inside the shed here to help you control the dust during games. We have about 40 of these inside the shed. This is your field chalk. Use this for here and Pioneer. We'll have Pioneer softball, we'll have some stored there as well. Turfist, this is used for cleaning up the wet spots, you know, problem spots here and there. Obviously make your call. Let us know if you think you're going to use more than 5 bags so we can kind of make the call whether it's worth the juice is worth the squeeze. And last but not least, our big chalk liner. This is another great tool for doing it by yourself. A lot of coaches prefer that if they're in a hurry or if they're a one-man show. But this is very useful. Please keep this at Powderworks main. What I want to do is make sure the blue ones are available for Pioneer softball. So that's pretty much the end of my first video. Oh, with the exception of this, the 2 most important tools you'll have in Powderworks main, finding the anchors, the spade and the shallow trench digger. Make sure you guys use this to help you get that crown exposed so you can put it in the base.
Hi, I'm Tom Bradbury. I'm going to talk about maintaining the shed. One of the things that is really kind of frustrating is if you're a coach, especially if you're a coach of multiple teams, or if you work on a Saturday and you show up to get your field ready and the shed is in disarray. We can all help each other out by making sure that things are put back where they belong. Generally, it's pretty easy. We're going to take the main chalk machine and we're going to put it right back in the back. Right there. Then we're going to take the bases and we're going to stack them into the back. You can even stack them on top of the chalk machine. They kind of go together. Then all the bases get stuck back here for both the Powderworks fields. And then any extra buckets back in here. And then the small tools all back into the white bucket that we keep over here. All larger tools we just put over in this corner. the bags of absorbent and chalk are already along the sides, and the umpire gear is going to go back into this bag and placed right here. Any hoses or umpire uniforms are going to be hung from this bar up here. And that's it.
Thank you. All right, field maintenance, guys. Home plate powder work. The dirt moves away from home plate towards the backstop and the first base side. So first thing you want to do is try to level out the holes. Working into, especially the first baseman, the third base batter box, or the right-handed hitter. Best you can. It's even better to have a little bit of a lump on the side. There is a hole. So once it settles and you tamp it, it might get a little bit more level. Once you get it level as best you can, start the concentric circle with home plate. That's all you need to get the plate game going. Also fill in the umpire and catcher circles, the catcher's area. 1, 2, 3, 4 are the big problem spots at home plate. And after you do this, you just drag it smooth and start lining. Good. Alright guys, lining home plate. Once you level it out, grab your template right here. Notice this notch right here. You want to have it aligned with the corner that comes towards the point of the rear point of home plate. Okay? Try to do the best you can with these lines to make sure that they are parallel and it doesn't throw the pitchers off. Believe me, the kids will tell you if it feels off. What I like to do is walk around like this and make the indentation. Some of you bigger folks are probably better off just doing a template with your own hand. Once you do this, do it on repeat on both sides, and then you line with chalk. So the first thing we do is get your chalker, put it down on the corner, and work your line that's parallel to the plate. Like so. Bring it back to the corner. Box just like that, and then complete the box. It was repeat on the same side. Kind of look at how it's basically parallel to the sides of home plate, and it's pretty even with a kid on the mound or at second base. The worst you can have is to be skewed, and it really throws the kids off, like we learned the hard way. Once you got this part done, use the tamping tool and our 150 foot chalking line. Notice how it fits handy right here. What you want to do is place the tool on the corner. And for everybody's information, I know most of you are tracking, home plate is fair territory. So therefore the foul line starts right here. And then you just run this out to the base, and notice if you do it properly, it lines up with a corner of the batter's box. And all you do is extend this all the way out to third base. And once we get there, I'll show you in the next video how to set that up. Okay, so now that we did home plate, we've run our line all the way through, just so for the guys that may not have been in the game for a while. Third base, all the bases are in fair territory. So in the perfect world, your line lines up flush with the base. Best method is to just put the base in, kind of line under, and then run the chalk line towards the left field marker, way out in left field best you can. For 12U, you want to mark, you want to chalk for 10U, chalk all the way to the grass line. For 12U, since we have a lot of chalk this year, let's try to get the chalk running about to 200 feet, so it gives the umpire a shot at calling a fair or foul best you can.
What about 8U and 6U?
8U and 6U, if the line's already there, just run it out to the grass as well too. But the main thing with the 6U is, as long as the bases are in, the line goes to the bases, then there should be more than ample for you guys to get your game in and give them the experience of a real baseball game. Alright, so we've lined it all the way to about halfway to the grass. I don't know, different video. If you look at how far the line extends, it's about as far as you probably need to go for a 10U if you're in a rush, for an 8U game if you're in a rush. That's more than plenty for a 6U. I haven't seen a T-ball player hit it farther than that in the 5 years I've been here. If he does, then you might have a bright future for him or her. So notice how we're flush with the base. And the line's relatively straight, but in the end, both teams have to play with the same lines. All right, same exact thing on first base as on the third base line, with one exception for the 10 and the 12 U's. We need to put this runner's box approximately halfway between home plate and the base. Now, according to rule, once the runner is here, they have to stay in this box. They have to stay in this box while they're running to first base. They're here and they get hit by the ball, the runner is out for obstructing, and they can't come out here to prevent a throw from a catcher, basically obstructing the play. So this is the only place where the runner has the right before the fielder. Unless they're camped under a pop fly, then you're allowed to go around him to avoid collision. And if you look around, less than half a can of blue got us this far, which is enough to get a 8U game going. So it's basically what the field needs to get started and provide a good experience for the players. Really important about Powderworks Maine. When you put your bases in, notice right here a little, almost like an arrow or a cursor pointing towards the mound. So ensure that no matter where you're at, this is pointing towards the mound. So obviously if you're at first base, it would be pointing back towards me. So good check once you put the things in. And if you happen to be officiating a game, it's probably a check you need to do every inning just to make sure it's going to be safe. The whole purpose of the base is to provide the ability for it to come off when it's slid into. And some of our boys are starting to get big, and that'll probably be very good. Okay, so basically 46 feet is how far 10U pitches from home plate. It's measured, as you can see here, 46. It's measured from the rear tip of the mound, basically the farthest portion of the mound from the rubber. For those of you playing machine pitch, 38 feet is where the front end of your legs of your pitching machine should be. So basically you're setting your machine up right here and it's thrown to the hitters. Lastly, for anybody in machine pitch or T-ball, this is also the closest you can have any player to home plate, for obvious reasons. In the case of the 12U, we have a portable mound which is currently not pictured, but it will be pitching at 50 feet. So best practice when you first set up the mound is to mark 50 and just kind of have a general line that protrudes past it, so you have a pretty good mark of where to set it down initially, and after that you're just kind of sliding it left and right, making it easier to install the temporary.
For the girls pitching rubbers, all of you have in your bags portable pitching platforms with spikes and can nails. For the 12U girls, those go at 40 feet from the back of home plate to the front of the rubber. And for the 10U girls, they go at 35 feet. So all you're going to do is you're going to get your tape measure out, you're going to measure out to 40 feet, center it, and nail it in. So 35 feet for 10U, 40 feet for 12U.
40 feet.
Cut. Go.
Okay, here we are at 46 feet, Powderworks, Maine. The big departure from last year is our 10Us are going to be pitching from a flat mound, based on a lot of research saying that a flat mound puts less stress on the arm than a elevated one. So we're going to start them off from machine pitch, no pitching, to flat pitching, and then progress up to a mound once they get older. What you want to do is make sure you bring dirt into the middle. So we're going to have 10U, we're going to have machine pitch right about here, and then the softball ladies kicking up this trench. It's going to be a trench by the end of the year if we don't do it. Water runs off that way and towards third base here. So the best you can almost make a mini mound right here. Level it out best you can. Once you level it out, transition to the tank. And then pound away, helping settle the dirt, fill in the cracks. And if during the dry part of the season, probably a good idea to follow up before you tamp by using the hose and water and wetting it down. So when you first start the drag, you got 2 drags. In a pinch, you can have 2 or 3 of them in there, and you can have 2 or 3 parents do this really quickly. We also have the big drag here for Powderworks bait. What I would prefer, if time is not of the essence, that you use the small rake to fill in and level out the area best you can, about a 10-foot square. Nice and easy, using common sense, taking big rocks out if you need to, and getting it basically level and avoiding any bad hops that may occur due to the field being uneven. From there, you transition to the big rack, the big drag. So basically, you start off here, about 10 feet out from the mound. And what you're trying to do is just concentric circles, just like this, working your way around the field. And obviously you're going to get close to the baselines as you get closer to them. Avoid touching the baseline, and just use the rake to fill in the ends, especially in between games. You can do the same at the base areas as well too. Use the hand rake for the base areas to level it out in between games. If post-game or pre-lining the game, you can use the big drag to get it done. Guys, the field is in full game save mode. So best you can, if you can drag it, please do so. Notice how the tarps are put at the mound, each of the bases, and home plate. Obviously with 70-foot bases it makes it pretty hard, but if you go with common sense, if you got protect the 60-foot bases. They're the earlier games on Saturday, so if those games get going, then it'll probably dry out by the time the 50-70 12U guys play. So just take a quick look. That's what the sandbags are for, not for weight training for your players. You can do that as well, but that's how we kind of protect the field. And for those of you new to Patriot League, this field can hold up to a 1/4 inch of rain in a day, and we've had games happen the next day after. So don't give up on the games. Just like in the bylaws I'll send out for the 10U and 12U, the league president, that's me, or Tom Bradbury, the Patriot League president, are the authorities for canceling games. Obviously we'll stay in contact with you. That has to do with umpires and all that stuff as well. Otherwise, if it's a machine pitch or a T-ball game, we're not going to guarantee that we can reschedule every game that gets rained out. So please do everything you can to save the field and have the games going. Thanks. Hi. If you notice this box here, in about 2 weeks' time, it's going to be located on the first base dugout side of Pioneer softball field over in DuPont. What we're going to have in here is a set of chalking equipment, some chalk, some turfus, and we're probably going to purchase some more tarps and put them in here.
And bases.
And bases, obviously. So it reduces the amount of movement, and you can just show up to the field and start setting up right away. Some of the Pioneer tools will attempt to fit in here. If not, then that may be one thing you have to pick up. But there is a drag on site, so it makes it a lot easier, and you're not going to have to own a pickup truck to coach in this league. So, thanks.